إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. One day Umar radiallahu anhu, he left his home with Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. And during the late hours of the night, they saw the glow of light which was burning at a distance. And it was really late at night, so they were wondering what is it. He's the Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he took it upon himself as a responsibility of the leader of Muslims to make sure that everybody was safe and everybody was in safety and security. So he would take rounds of the areas in Medina, and he came across a house where they saw light in such a late hour. So they followed the light until it led them to a home with a burning lamp. And upon seeing the lamp, Umar entered the house and saw an old man sitting with some alcohol in front of him. And there was a female singer entertaining him. So the old man was caught off guard. And this was something, there are several lessons in this. And he said to him, I have not seen a sight more shameful, Umar, he said. A sight, this is an old man over here. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is warned about this as well in a hadith where he is mentioned about a person coming to a certain age and still he does not give up such actions of zina and evil actions. So Umar radiallahu anhu, when he saw this, he mentioned that this is one of the most shameful sights that I've ever seen. What I have witnessed tonight from an old man who should be awaiting his death. And he's telling this to this old Muslim. So the old man replied to Umar, and look at his response. Indeed, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, what you have done is more shameful than this. So he went on to say, you have entered my house without my permission and spied on me. And is not spying forbidden in Islam? Umar admitted to the truth, and this was the greatness of Umar ibn al-Khattab, being the leader, the commander of the believers. And he was confronted, and his rebuttal was even more shameful because Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was with him. A young gentleman, a young Muslim boy, rather, compared to Umar. So he said, what you've done is more shameful. You entered into my house, first of all, without permission. And then you have done something which Allah even forbids in the Quran. Do not spy, do not backbite, do not, speak evil of each other. So Umar, he accepted this truth, this statement, and left his house, biting his garment and crying. And crying, as he said, may the mother of Umar lose him if Allah does not forgive me. after the old man, he stopped attending the gatherings of Umar. He noticed that he was not attending. And after some time passed, Umar saw the old man in one of the rows of his gathering where he used to make durus or get together, and wished to speak with him. And fearing his harshness from Umar, the old man approached him cautiously, being asked to come closer and closer until he was finally seated near the Amir al-Mu'mineen. So Umar asked to have his ear next to his mouth and said, he called this old person so close to him, and then he asked him to put his ear next to his mouth so he can speak to him inside his ear, and nobody else would hear what he's about to say. So he said, by the one who has sent Prophet Muhammad sallallaahu alaihi with the truth, I have not informed anyone of what I saw of you that night, nor have I informed Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, for indeed he was with me. So apparently Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was not in the same room, and he was waiting for him outside. So the old man replied, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, by the one who has sent Prophet Muhammad with the truth, I too have not returned to those evil actions since the night you entered upon me. Allahu Akbar. I too have left all the fawaish and the munkar for the sake of Allah, by that Allah. I have not turned back to this evil. And Umar uttered out loud, Allahu Akbar, when he heard that. He uttered out loud, Allahu Akbar. And yet no one from the gathering knew what had occurred between these two. No one imagined from the whole Muslim Ummah they came to know what had occurred. And this is reflecting the hadith of Prophet Muhammad, my brothers, where he said that 3 of the things of a Muslim on another Muslim are inviolable. You cannot violate on these 3 things. One of them is his life. The second one is wealth. And the third one is honor. There are 3 things that are forbidden upon you with respect to your other Muslim brother, no matter what he is, no matter in what condition he is, not what situation he is. He is a Muslim, and you need to protect your Muslim brother. His wealth is haram upon you. To cheat him, to, fool him, and to take it or steal from him in different ways. His life is haram upon you. And also in the same 3 things, from the 3 things that he mentioned, his honor. The honor of a Muslim is haram. That you dishonor him in any way and disrespect him. And this is why the Sahaba, and there is an opinion even amongst the scholars, that when somebody speaks of another Muslim, what is actually ghiba? What is ghiba? So the definition of ghiba is that if you speak about another Muslim behind his back, something that he may dislike, even if it was true. And this is what Rasulullah informed us. Even if it was true about him, some people you might hear them saying, even if he was in front of me, I would tell him. But this is not the way to correct another Muslim. You wouldn't tell him. In reality, 99.9% you would not tell him. So you cannot. So some of the scholars, they say, it is not mentioned in the hadith, whether it is behind the back, whether it is in front of, that you do not speak about your brother what he does not like, even if it is not true. This is the meaning of the hadith. So they say that even in front of him, you should talk with respect and honor with your other Muslim brother. And this is the foundation of a Muslim society, my brothers and sisters. Beginning from your own house, between the husband and wife. A wife does not utter evil about her husband, and the and does not mention any shameful thing, even if they have done something wrong. And this begins from the time when you are children. And if you have any children at home, you do not go complaining amongst my young brothers, my young little brothers. If you have brothers or sisters, you should not be going complaining to your father and mother every time your other brother did something and say, Baba, Baba, or, Abhi, he has done such and such, or she has done such and such. Complaining to your father and mother. You should try to deal with it. And this is the way you will also get respect from your other brothers and sisters. Within your own family. A husband and a wife. For a wife to protect the honor of the husband, it's an amana. It's an amana. And this is one of the qualities of a good Muslim wife that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has mentioned. That when a Muslim wife is such, then choose for yourself. One of the advices that Rasulullah gave, to choose someone that when you come to the house, you will be pleased with her. Pleased with her. In every way you can imagine, inshallah. May Allah make all our sisters like this for their husbands. And when you get out of the house, leaving her alone, you can trust her. You can trust her with your wealth that is in the house, with her chastity, with all the things that are, in relation with the husband and wife, with your children. So this is a foundation of a good, beautiful, healthy society, wherein everyone in the society, they protect each other rather than backbiting them or trying to insult them or making, jokes about them. Because it may be, even if you make a joke, let's say you made a joke about a brother in a group, and this is also very common amongst our societies. They pick up on one of the brothers, and because of his some weakness, they make jokes and they crack, and even that brother laughs along with the rest of them. But in reality, he feels hurt. He feels hurt, maybe not in front of you. He probably goes back and thinks about it, and he feels hurt about it. Rather, you would advise him in secret, and not let anyone know, and make dua for him. And make dua for him, so the angels will make dua for you. The angels will make dua for you when you make dua from a Muslim brother in his absence. And this is why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said these three things are inviolable on a Muslim, another Muslim. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said in the Quran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Hold on to the rope of Allah. Hold on to the rope of Allah, all together in a jama'ah, in unity, so that you don't pull out strings of it, and you don't make shreds out of Islam. Everyone doing whatever he feels like. So we follow on and hold on to the rope of Allah, the deen of Allah, together. And this becomes the essence and the main goal of a society. The unity. The unity belongs actually only to Allah. And this is why this is the most purest form of monotheistic religion. Because of the unity, the preservation of the unity of Allah in Islam. And this is a very great example for us to lead our lives. And this is why our Qibla is one. Our goal is one. And our Qibla is one. Our worship is only towards Him. And He is one, and we are one nation. We are one nation, regardless of what nationality we are. And this is a disease, my brothers. As a matter of fact, this is a disease. You see this disease not amongst the nations that have been separated by some empires who first came Muslim country and one person from this area or this, in one state, he dislikes or hates a person from another state, and he is the same Muslim. He is the Muslim who goes to the masjid, he prays to the same God, he stands in front of Allah, he recites the same ayahs, he recites the same Surah Al-Fatiha from the Quran, and in the Surah Al-Fatiha he says, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Do not make us like those on whom your anger and the ones who are astray, upon whom your anger is, the kuffar and mushrikeen and the people of the book. But he acts exactly like them, or rather, according to them. So this begins, my brothers, from individual actions. And there will be people who can blame leaders and, prime ministers and presidents and whatever. But Allah Azza wa Jal will grant you the head exactly according to the way you are. So this is why, if you do smaller actions, and this is one of the reasons why even the people of Ad and Thamud were destroyed. The examples of the people of Ad and Thamud is because of their evil actions of not being on Tawheed, or of not being in obedience to Allah and His Messenger. This is one major reason why they were destroyed. Disobedience of Allah and His Messenger. So it begins from our own self, then from our own family, then from our brothers and sisters, then from our neighbors, and then from our whole society, and the responsibility increases in this way. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal that He gives us the ability to hold on to His robe in unity, in togetherness, and makes the hearts of the believers as one. وَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبُهُمْ. As Allah Azza wa Jalla said, you, Muhammad couldn't have done this. But it is Allah who had made their hearts. Look at this example of this Jum'ah, brothers. We have come from different parts of this city, or different parts of this country, maybe in different cities as well. And Allah Azza wa Jalla has gotten us together. If it wasn't for the mercy, for the rahmah, for the karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muslims would never gather on the day of Jum'ah as well. They would never gather together and sit next to each other with patience, listening to the boring khutbah or the interesting khutbah for half an hour next to each other and praying. They would never do that. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us together just the way we are together in this masjid, even outside the masjid. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. We should always remember, my brothers, that we have so many amazing examples and incidents, and they're not lies. They're not incidents made up by some, there are speakers nowadays, may Allah guide them, they make up lies to make people laugh, or to, give a good parable or example, stories. But the Quran and the Sunnah does not have false stories and false examples and parables. They are incidents, and they are actual things that have taken place in the past with messengers and prophets, and at the time of Muhammad as well. So amongst the examples, we know even at the time of Prophet Muhammad the division amongst the Muslims because of the way they lived in the Jahiliyyah was rampant. So if you have some you should know this is nothing but a trick of shaitan, or it is something that is from an action of jahiliyyah. Of course, you do not become a jahil, and this is going to another extreme. Somebody calling someone jahil or munafiq or he is a kafir. This is another big problem. You are not holier than thou. You cannot. You as a human being is yourself full of mistakes. And these examples you will find even in the time of Rasulullah. We just saw the story of Umar ibn al-Khattab. He agreed, he accepted his own mistake and his own forgetfulness of the laws of Allah. When you enter a house, you knock upon it. You ask permission. This was the rule the Prophet Muhammad he said before he left. Even when Rasulullah used to enter a house, he would knock and say salam and ask permission to enter before he would enter. So Umar accepted his mistakes. And Allah Azza wa Jal guided this person. So if we have some kind of hatred or malice or any kind of ill feeling towards our brothers and sisters, you should know, my brothers, this is a trick of shaitan. And one of the things that he loves the most, shaitan, is division, divide and rule. This has been the greatest trick of all the shayateen, from the ins and from the jinn. From the shayateen of the human race and the shayateen of the jinn race. So you should know that when something like this creeps into your heart, you should ask Allah's protection from shaitan. And you should go and clarify and verify issues that you have and make silat al-raham. And you know, you should try to make things better between you. Because this is the root from where divisions take place. Families get destroyed, nations and societies get destroyed, and the barakah and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is raised when the divisions take place. Because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, and remember this, my brothers, and this practice comes right from the time when the Imam says Allahu Akbar and you say Allahu Akbar. You follow the Imam, you don't precede him. And you stand in the salah in rows, feet to feet and shoulder to shoulder. This hadith, which I'm going to mention, the practice and implementation of this hadith begins from the time you come in. This is why it's so important for a Muslim to come to the masjid and pray. Because Rasulullah he said that the hand of Allah, Yadullah ala Jama', the hand of Allah is on the Jama'ah. The hand of Allah is upon the Jama'ah, upon the congregation, upon the unity of Muslims. There are so many meanings that you can bring out from this hadith. So we should start practicing it from the time when we stand for salah in Jama'ah in the masjid. Some brothers, when they make Allahu Akbar and Rafa and they fold their arms, they try to make it so